In the shadows where truth and tales intertwine, we find the thrilling, the chilling, the downright spine-tingling. From the paranormal to the peculiar, every echo has a story. Dare to delve into the unexpected, the unexplained? Brace yourself, for you're about to embark on a journey where fear meets fascination. Stay tuned if you dare, for stories that will make your heart race and your mind ponder. Welcome to the realm of the eerie, the realm of the unknown. And remember, like and subscribe, if you dare. Have you ever wondered if werewolves really exist? This question has fascinated and terrified people for centuries. Werewolves, the mythological beings who supposedly transform from man to wolf at the sight of a full moon, are a staple of folklore and horror stories alike. Their existence, however, remains a subject of debate. Some dismiss these creatures as mere figments of our collective imagination, while others argue that there might be more to these tales than meets the eye. Stories of men who claim to turn into wolves, of mysterious attacks, and of communities living in fear suggest that the werewolf might not be a simple work of fiction. One such story that stirs the pot of this debate is that of the Wolf of Ansbach. This creature, real or not, terrorized the people of Ansbach, a city in modern-day Bavaria, in the late 17th century. So, let's dive into the chilling tale of the Wolf of Ansbach, a creature that blurred the line between man and beast. In 1685, in the region around the modern Bavarian city of Ansbach, a lone wolf began to terrorize the local populace. This was no ordinary predator, but a beast of legend, a solitary hunter that emerged from the shadows to wreak havoc on the peaceful farming communities. Its reign of terror began innocently enough, with the disappearance of livestock. One by one, sheep and cattle vanished, their remains discovered later, ravaged and torn. But the Wolf of Ansbach wasn't satisfied with mere livestock. It turned its feral gaze to the humans tending the animals. In broad daylight, it would strike, snatching away women and children, leaving behind only confusion and fear. The number of victims remains unknown, but the beast's insatiable hunger painted a grim picture across the countryside. This was a time when people lived in close quarters with the wilderness, a time when the line between man and beast blurred in the shadows of the forest. Yet even in this era, the Wolf of Ansbach's actions sent ripples of fear through the region. The once bustling fields grew silent, the laughter of children replaced by the howling of the wind. The once vibrant markets stood deserted, their stalls empty and their patrons huddled in their homes, their eyes wide with fear. As the days turned into weeks, the terror intensified. The beast seemed unstoppable, its attacks relentless. The people of Ansbach were trapped in their own homes, their lives dictated by the whims of a seemingly invincible predator. But amidst the fear, a spark of hope emerged. A whisper began to spread among the populace, a rumor that promised a way to end the nightmare. The whispers spoke of an old enemy, a cruel and merciless magistrate whose death had brought relief rather than sorrow. The people believed that the magistrate had returned from the dead, transformed into the monstrous wolf that now haunted their lives. They believed that they were not dealing with just a beast, but a werewolf, a creature of darkness that walked among them in the light of day. And then a rumor began to circulate. The people of Ansbach had identified their enemy. Now they just needed to find a way to fight back. The recently deceased, cruel Burgermeister of Ansbach was not missed by his constituents. He was a man whose absence was felt more as a relief than a loss. However, the town soon found itself plagued by a different kind of terror. The wolf that had been preying on their livestock and their kin was no ordinary beast, or so the whispers among the townsfolk suggested. The wolf's solitary nature, its ruthless attacks, and its eerie familiarity with the town's layout, all these unusual traits gave birth to a chilling rumor. The townsfolk began to murmur among themselves that perhaps the wicked Burgermeister was not truly gone. Instead, they speculated, he had returned from the grave in the form of this monstrous wolf, seeking revenge on those who had dared to rejoice at his passing. The idea was both terrifying and absurd, a spine-tingling blend of horror and incredulity. But as the wolf's reign of terror continued, the theory took root. The specter of the Burgermeister, returned as a vengeful werewolf, hung heavy over the town. Each new attack, each fresh loss, only served to fuel the flame of this terrifying belief. The townsfolk reached a consensus. They could no longer cower in fear, waiting for the next attack. It was time to act. The decision was made to hunt down the creature, to end its reign of terror once and for all. The townsfolk were determined to slay the beast, to banish the Burgermeister's malevolent spirit for good. Their mission was not just a hunt. It was an exorcism, a way to cleanse their town of the Burgermeister's lingering curse. Gritting their teeth against the fear, they armed themselves. They prepared for the hunt, their hearts heavy with trepidation, but also alight with a spark of hope. If they could slay the beast, they could reclaim their peace, their safety. They could finally bid farewell to the Burgermeister's oppressive rule, whether in human form or lupine. And so the hunt began. A mob with hounds in tow tirelessly pursued the wolf across the countryside. The chase was relentless, a powerful testament to the fear and desperation of the people. The wolf, despite its impressive stamina, could not outrun the collective will of the terror-stricken crowd. The creature eventually sought refuge, leaping into a nearby well. The hounds, their instincts sharp, stood baying above the well, their cacophonous chorus acting as a beacon, guiding their masters to the trapped beast. There was no escape for the wolf of Ansbach, no shadowy forest or hidden den to provide sanctuary. It was cornered, caught like a rat in a trap. The mob descended upon the well, their hands clutching at whatever weapons they could find. Cudgels, pitchforks, the tools of their trade, now turned into implements of destruction. The wolf, a formidable predator turned prey, was ruthlessly slain. Each blow, each stab, was a release of the pent-up fear, a catharsis for the traumatized community. But as the life ebbed from the creature, something strange occurred. Or rather, something that was expected did not. According to the lore that had been passed down through countless generations, a werewolf once killed would revert to its human form. But the wolf of Ansbach remained lupine, its fur matted with blood, its eyes still reflecting the wild terror of its final moments. This lack of transformation puzzled the mob. Was this not their malevolent Burgermeister, returned from the grave to exact revenge on his detractors? Or had they been chasing shadows, their fears manifesting as a supernatural menace where there was none? The mob was left with a corpse that bore no resemblance to the evil magistrate they suspected. But they were not deterred. They had a wolf, and wolf or werewolf. It had been a terror that needed to be put down. Their relief was palpable, their victory bittersweet. They had conquered their fear, but at what cost? But the story of the wolf of Ansbach does not end here. Despite the wolf's failure to transform back into a man, the mob remained convinced of its supernatural origins. They saw not a mere beast before them, but rather an embodiment of the malevolent spirit they had come to despise, the late, unloved Burgermeister, now reduced to a lifeless, lupine form. Their belief in the creature's human essence led them to a bizarre, almost macabre pageantry. Unable to witness the human transformation they had anticipated, they took matters into their own hands. The wolf, in death as it was in life, became a spectacle, a symbol of fear and loathing that had gripped the town. With a grim sense of triumph, they dressed the lifeless creature in human garb. They cut off the beast's muzzle as a grotesque souvenir of their victory, and adorned it in the attire befitting a man of the Burgermeister's station. A wig was carefully placed on its head, a beard upon its chin, creating an uncanny likeness to the despised magistrate. It was as though in death the man and the beast had become one, a chilling testament to their shared infamy. Their ghoulish parade through the streets of Ansbach bore witness to the bizarre spectacle. The townsfolk, once cowered in fear, now stood in awe as the once terrifying creature, now dressed in the garb of a man, was carried through the town. The message was clear. This was the fate that awaited all who dared to bring harm upon them. The final act of this grim spectacle was the hanging of the wolf's body. The creature, still clad in human clothing, was hoisted upon a gibbet, a stark warning for all to see. It served as a grim reminder of the consequences of evil, a deterrent for would-be wrongdoers, and perhaps potential werewolves. And so ends the tale of the Wolf of Ansbach, a story that continues to blur the line between man and beast, reality and myth. And so our tale of the Campfire Horrors comes to an end. Until next time, sleep tight. Before we part ways, dear viewers, remember to stay vigilant. The Campfire Horrors may have been extinguished for now, but the embers of the unknown always remain. As you lay down to sleep tonight, don't forget the lessons from our tale. Safety is but a fleeting moment in a world of unseen. So if you've enjoyed this journey into the abyss, don't forget to ring that bell and smash that like button. Do it before the thing under your bed decides to pay you a visit. Oh, and keep those night lights on. You never know what might be lurking in the dark. Thank you for embarking on this terrifying adventure with us. Until our paths cross again in another tale of the unknown. Goodbye and sweet dreams, if you can.